Welcome to the Explainer. What happens when your rights exist on paper, but not really in your day-to-day life? Well, today, we're going to crack open the constitutional toolkit that every Indian citizen has to hold power accountable. We'll explore the systems designed to make sure justice isn't just a promise, but a reality for everyone.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to tackle the core problem, that gap between the rights you have and your ability to enforce them. Then, we'll unpack the 5 powerful constitutional tools. We're talking about writs that are your direct line to the courts. From there, we'll see how things like legal aid are helping to close that justice gap. And finally, we'll take a look at how technology is shaping the future of justice.
Okay, let's kick things off by asking a question that really gets to the heart of what it means to have rights in the first place.
It's a powerful question, isn't it? Because this highlights the core challenge for any democracy, that potential gulf between the promises made on paper and the actual justice that gets delivered day in and day out. But here's the brilliant part. The Constitution doesn't just leave us hanging with that question. It actually provides the answer. It doesn't just grant us rights, it gives us, the citizens, these extraordinary, direct tools to enforce our rights and keep the state in check. All right, so let's get into the main event, the primary solution to this problem. We're talking about 5 powerful legal instruments known as writs. You can think of these as the core of your constitutional toolkit. So, what in the world is a writ? The best way to think about it is it's not a suggestion, it's a direct, formal order from a high court to a government body or a lower court. It's a binding command to either do something or stop doing something, right now, all to protect a citizen's fundamental rights. First up, we have habeas corpus. The name literally means you may have the body, which is a perfect description. This is a fundamental safeguard against anyone being unlawfully detained. If someone is arrested, this writ forces the state to bring that person before a court and justify with evidence why they're being held. If there's no lawful reason, they have to be released. Simple as that. And this isn't just theory. This writ has changed countless lives. Take the landmark Hussein-R Khatun case. The Supreme Court used this very principle to tackle the tragedy of under-trial prisoners who had been rotting in jail for years. The court made it crystal clear. A speedy trial is a fundamental right, and we don't have enough money is not an excuse. This single decision led to the release of thousands of people. Next is mandamus, which is Latin for we command, and that's exactly what it does. This writ is all about compelling action. If a public authority is legally required to do its job, let's say issue a license or provide a public service, and they just aren't doing it, a court can issue a mandamus to force them to get it done. Then you've got quo warranto, which means by what authority? Let's say you suspect someone was appointed to a public office without actually having the legal qualifications. This writ challenges their right to hold that position. It basically says, prove to the court legally that you're supposed to be here. Okay, now these last two, prohibition and certiorari, can seem a little confusing because they both deal with lower courts, but the key difference is all about timing. Prohibition is preventative. It's used to stop a lower court from hearing a case it has no business hearing in the first place. Certiorari is curative. It's used after a decision has already been made to cancel or quash that order if it was made without proper authority. So one stops the error from happening and the other corrects it after it's happened. So these writs are incredibly powerful tools, but they usually require you to go to court yourself, and that can be expensive, intimidating, and time-consuming. What happens when a problem affects an entire community that just doesn't have the resources to fight? Well, this is where the Indian judiciary took a groundbreaking leap forward, and that's what we're going to talk about now. A huge part of this leap forward was the rise of public interest litigation, or PIL, which allows any citizen to bring a case to court on behalf of people who can't. To formalize and expand on this idea, the government established the National Legal Services Authority, NALSA. Its mission is crystal clear: provide free, high-quality legal help to make sure that justice isn't a luxury item. And when we say free legal services, we're not just talking about getting a lawyer. It's the whole package. It covers your court fees, the cost for preparing all the legal documents, getting official copies of judgments, and even getting advice on how to access government programs. And this support is available from the lowest courts all the way up to the Supreme Court. And they've made the process itself as easy as possible. You can literally walk into the nearest Legal Services Authority office, apply by mail, or do it all online through the NALSA portal. And if you have trouble with the paperwork, there are volunteers who will help you fill it out. The whole system is designed to remove as many barriers as possible. But what about the sheer volume of cases? I mean, even with legal aid, our courts are absolutely overloaded. That brings us to another brilliant innovation designed to make justice faster and more efficient: alternative dispute resolution. So let's talk about the Lok Adalat, which translates to the People's Court. This is a way to resolve disputes without going through a long, formal, and often expensive trial. The whole focus here is on finding a middle ground, a compromise, a settlement that both sides can agree to. It's a huge help in clearing the massive backlog of cases in our regular court system. And of course, the system keeps evolving. The COVID-19 pandemic was a huge catalyst here, pushing the entire process online with the creation of e-Lok Adalats. This shift has been a game changer, dramatically expanding access to justice for people who couldn't physically make it to a courthouse. And that brings us perfectly to our final section. Technology is rapidly changing the very face of the Indian judiciary. It's offering some incredible new opportunities, for sure, but it's also presenting a whole new set of challenges we need to think about. I mean, just look at the progress. We've got virtual courts for handling cases in real time. We have live streaming of court proceedings, which makes the whole process way more transparent. E-courts projects are cutting down delays caused by physical distance. All of these initiatives are making the justice system more efficient and accessible than ever before. But, and this is a really big but, there's a major hurdle we absolutely cannot ignore: the digital divide. There are still huge parts of the country without reliable, high-speed internet. This gap risks creating a new kind of inequality, where the most vulnerable people get left behind in this new age of digital justice. So, to tackle that digital divide head-on, the government has launched the incredibly ambitious BharatNet project. It's a massive partnership with a simple goal: bring high-speed broadband to every single Gram Panchayat in the country, laying the essential groundwork so that digital justice can be a reality for all, not just some. You know, when you step back and look at all of this, the writs, the legal aid, the Lok Adalats, the new technology, it's clear that justice isn't a passive guarantee written in a book. It's an active process, something that we have to constantly build and strive for. And that leaves us with a critical question for the future. As technology races forward, how do we make absolutely sure that the system we're building is not just more efficient, but truly fair and accessible for every single person?